This is my second book actually, called Let's Talk Hair. About 3 years ago, I did a book called Skin Deep, which was basically about what to eat for good skin from a health perspective. That book was very well received, and ever since it came out in the market, a lot of people had been telling me, why don't you write a book on hair? I think in most people's mind, when you think about beauty, skin and hair are quite closely intertwined. And therefore, once you've done a book on skin, it made sense to do one on hair, so that the entire beauty concept can be completely covered for people who are reading it. So that's how the work started for doing this book. And there was also a particular editor in HarperCollins who pushed me to do the book as well, which was the second reason why I actively got to writing this book and the book came about. This book was a little bit more unique from what I had done with Skin Deep. With Skin Deep, actually, I thought about what would work for the skin from a diet perspective, what I'd been doing with my patients over the last 10 years, and that actually came out in the form of a book. What I did for Let's Talk Hair was I actually observed over a 6-month period what were the most common questions that I got asked about hair, whether it was in my clinic or whether it was in social events that I went to. Sometimes when I went to the hairdressers, if there were other clients there who would ask me, you know, you're a hair specialist, can we seek some advice from you? And I compiled all those questions. Once I got all the questions in place, then I started structuring the book. And that's how the structure of the book is also very different, you know. So you've got something called the tough stuff, which is all about hair problems. Then you have the fun stuff, which is basically what all of us do to our hair: experimentation, cutting, coloring, straightening, and what are the problems that go with that. What is it that we do to look after the hair once we do the fun stuff? And then there's the extra stuff, which was all the questions I couldn't fit into any one coherent basket, you know, which is things like bad hair days, what do I eat for my hair, why is it that my hair frizzes out in Bangalore but it stays absolutely fine in Bombay, those kind of questions which don't really fit into any one basket. And that's how the structure of the book was born, mostly through people asking me questions, whether they are patients, regular people, or anybody else who's interested in hair, which is pretty much all of us. That's a very good question, because the don'ts with hair are far more important than the do's, since we tend to do so very much to our hair. One of the biggest and most important don'ts is to not embrace every haircare trend that comes in the market, because each of our hair is genetically unique and not everything that suits somebody is definitely going to suit me as well. So the starting point is to understand your hair before you dabble in any kind of new treatment for the hair. That's really the first don't. Second is to not all the time eat whatever is available at hand, but with every meal to make some effort to eat one hair-friendly food. And while I'm not giving too much away from the book, all the hair-friendly foods of the world I've branched under one acronym called the Zip-Lockables. So you can literally just zip-lock all the nutrients required for you under these 10 foods. The third big don't is don't go out swimming or don't go out in the rain without protecting your hair. Because when rainwater or swimming pool water touches your hair, the water actually enters into your hair shaft and damages it from within. And that's the reason why as soon as you've got wet in the rain and you come in, your hair tends to break much more. So protect your hair the way you would protect your skin when you go out in the rain or in intense sunlight. The fourth big don't is don't constantly experiment. You know, it's nice once in a while to do something different, but every month, every day, we cannot be using chemical treatments, heating treatments on our hair. Doing that is a surefire way of absolutely killing whatever goodness is there in the hair. And the final don't is don't throw out all the lovely old-time remedies your mothers and grandmothers recommended. You know, things like oiling your hair with coconut-based oils or eating almonds and walnuts every day are definitely proven by science to be good for the hair. So just because something was told to us by our parents doesn't mean it's bad for us. So don't throw out all the old wives' tales. We must stick to some of them while also embracing modern trends in hair care. See, there are a couple of things here. One, Indian hair is quite unique. It falls even in the entire gamut of hair across the world. It falls exactly between Caucasian hair and, you know, Mongoloid hair, which is the Chinese hair. And because of its unique positioning, it tends to be stronger. We tend to gray slower and we tend to have longer hair than most communities across the world. So it's really taken us a lot to destroy our genetics to be where we are today. Now, having said that, you know, globalization is the order of the day. And even if we didn't have all these hair care companies descending into India, travel has become common. Trends have become quite international. You know, what releases in America today instantly releases in India as well. So it is a bit unrealistic to expect younger people to not experiment with these trends. And thirdly, because there's such a premium on black hair since time immemorial, people don't like to go grey in India. You know, we're quite vain about our hair. We're in fact more vain about our hair than we are about our skin. We don't really embrace so many camouflaging skin techniques easily. But hair, everyone wants as much hair as possible and as dark as possible for a longer time. And because today so many beauty parlors are international chains which bring in international trends, they actually advise you not to color your hair black. They tell you that if you're graying with black hair, you look younger if you color your hair a shade lighter. And it is true also from a visual perspective. So that's the reason why maybe in the last 7 to 10 years, coloring has really caught on. And also most of our Bollywood icons do have colored hair. They do experiment, and in India we are heavily influenced by Bollywood. So we tend to follow those trends. It is not actually coloring per se which is going to cause the damage. Coloring does cause damage, but hair at the end of the day is anyway dead tissue. It's like a fabric which we put on our scalp. So if we take care of it, if we handle the fabric with care and also support the scalp which nourishes the hair, even with colored chemicals or with heating methods which we use, we can still end up having beautiful hair. Mostly the problem is that we want to experiment, but we don't want to do all that goes with it, which is spending a little extra time on the hair, ensuring that after it is colored, we do everything to keep it looking most beautiful. Those are the things that we tend to give short shrift to because either of lack of time, lack of knowledge, or simply lack of interest, because we think if we go to the parlor once a month, that's more than enough. And that's really what this book talks about. The whole idea of saying let's talk hair is to talk about it every single day, you know, talk about what goes wrong with it on a daily basis, because then you'll also fix it on a daily basis and not wait for some professional to do it for you. Well, I'm going to share one story that actually inspired me to write this book. And this was a model who had been coming to me for some years. She had the most gorgeous hair possible because she was naturally blessed with long hair. And long hair is one of the best hair models can have because it makes it so amenable to doing so many different shoots. And she was one of those models who would do a lot of hair care products, and she would constantly come and tell me how they would put the fan to blow her hair out, and after that she would go home and her mother would actually put coconut oil on the hair and take care of it for her. Now it so happened that she had a sister who lived in Australia, and the mother went away for about 6 months. And around the same time, she also got into a new relationship where she decided to do something different with her hair, and she went and permed her absolutely straight hair. And after she permed it and stopped using the coconut oil, her hair really went to the dogs. She started getting a lot of hair fall. She started getting severe dandruff, which she'd never had earlier. And it sort of altered her entire perception and self-image of herself. And she also felt that she started losing modeling assignments, which is probably linked to the fact that her hair was the greatest asset that she had. And once she had permed it, she had to wait for the perm to go, which could take anything up to 6 months. So what we did was we started working with her. We started telling her what she could do for her hair at home, modified her diet to include more protein. She was a vegetarian, so we had to include omega-3 from vegetarian sources because she couldn't eat fish, she couldn't eat eggs. We also started working with her on doing some home hair spas every week to condition the hair better. And slowly but surely, within a month, she noticed a drastic improvement in her hair. And the really funny thing was one of the hair care brands was looking for someone with curly hair to promote a new shampoo. And she got the first audition that she went for, which was for curly hair, which again completely altered her perception that she needed to have straight hair to look beautiful. So really the moral that I took away from this story was that any kind of hair can look beautiful. You don't have to have black hair or straight hair or long hair. You can have absolutely short hair, which is extremely curly, colored because you've been coloring for many, many years, and still you can do all the right things to take care of your hair. The only important thing is to keep talking hair so that you know what your problems are, you approach the right kind of people, and you take remedies to fix it as soon as you can.